Hello and welcome to the Non-Ec Nonsense podcast, a show where our EMC cards are becoming very, very expensive coasters. I am Kat Gold.
I'm Michael Matterdomini. Welcome back to Volume 3 of the Chaos. Here we go.
Hell yeah, motherfucker. Hell
We
yeah.
back in 3 episodes deep.
And this time, the audience doesn't have to suffer with just hearing us rant and rave. Today, we have a special guest to rant and rave with us.
Our very special guest who we met during Eminem's production of Guys and Dolls. He was our nicely Johnson. Cat
Well,
Gold, take it away.
I've known Tommy longer than that.
Oh,
Anyway, it is the incredible Tommy Paduano. Yay!
Hello.
Thank you for coming on and joining the chaos.
Oh, I live for the chaos.
I want to get your full review because I remember we were literally mid recording our second episode when I got a message from you saying, "You two are fucking idiots." So tell us your review of the show so far.
Oh my God, no, you have no idea, okay? It literally brought me back to our Zoom calls from COVID land.
Oh my God. That was honestly like the thing that kept me from really throwing myself off the roof of this house was the chaotic Zoom calls with like 10, 12 people in
It
like the
was
theater scene.
nuts.
And
It
everyone would just
was
be sitting there on the camera, like drinking and just ranting.
it was like it literally it gave me that level of chaos. And I was
Aw.
so here for it.
he was listening in and he was like, oh no, I need to join these two fools.
I was like, oh, the tea is hot and I have so much more.
Ooh, 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 whatever tea you want to spill. We're getting
Whoa, I
ready
don't
to
know.
get
I don't
canceled.
know about that. I'm not trying to get
Listen,
blackballed.
okay, you don't want to get blackballed. I fully accepted the fact that I'm gonna get canceled at some point on this podcast.
And you know what? I left South Florida, so I don't care anymore.
Tommy, I haven't seen you in like forever, dude. Like I thought that, when we were like, oh, goodbye, see you around, I didn't think it would be 2 years later where I was like, oh, hi, Tommy.
Is it 2 years? Has it been 2 years?
It's coming up on 2 years. It's like 1 year
It
and
is
like nine
not.
months.
Is it? Oh my God, it
Oh
is.
my
Yeah.
God.
Holy crap.
Time flies when you're really poor.
Listen, the one person with a concussion during that process remembered how long it's been. Okay. We need to step it up, figure it out.
It knocked the common sense out of your brain. The only thing that remains is like the haunting memory of guys and dolls.
The memory, and then my body's just like, hey, I guess you got to keep going, buddy. Like, you got to figure it out somehow. Pull it together.
You just cling on to Randall. It's fine.
Just wait
Randall,
backstage in the Save Us All mission, waiting to run out of it.
oh my God, please. Okay, this is thank God we brought it up this soon. I need to hear the stories from behind the mission because I was always the person that like had to like
Open the
Har-
door.
well, no,
And
Harper opened the door. Harper opened the door and got the surprise every single time. I just had to like scream at every single person coming out of there. So I
what
never
I
got to
tell you,
enjoy.
we would find something different to do every single time.
I was the main instigator. I'll take blame. I mean, like the first night, Harper opened the door and I gave him the finger. And then everyone saw, like, they were like, oh, that's funny. And then I was like, you know what? Let's build upon it. And they're like, well. And I was like, no. You're already in the joke. You're stuck behind the mission with me. So deal with it. And then it progressed to like me giving birth to Nathan's baby back there. And then what
It
else
went
did
from like a finger to like a pregnancy to like a full-on orgy at one point.
Oh my God, why am I talking about this? We all just went to hell. That's the best way I could
Well,
describe
that's a given. That's a
back
given.
there. We all went to hell. No one's safe. We all did the sign of the cross, and then I personally went to church and got splashed with holy water. So I had to, atone for my sins for sure.
Your
In,
skin's still intact, so I think you're doing fine.
in light terms, what it looked like when that door opened. You know that one scene in Spring Awakening towards the end of the show that sometimes people decide to cut out?
We brought that to Guys and Dolls.
We did. And probably
I
if you had
also
get there, you know which scene that is.
I also remember there was a water bottle, I believe, in someone's pants,
No,
and
it wasn't
someone
in.
was
No.
no,
I'll correct you right
no.
there. It wasn't in my
Oh, okay.
pants, but we had someone open up their mouth, and I squeezed the water bottle, and it shot into their mouth. So when they opened the door, it was just another moment where Michael Harper probably should have reached through the door, pulled me out onto stage, and beat me mercilessly. But he's too, I don't know, nice to go ahead and do that. But I
Okay,
definitely deserved it.
I
We're on a
just
new
wanted
meeting toward water sports.
I just really wanted to bring this up here, mainly because Michael, your mom followed the Instagram account. I just want her to hear that.
Oh God. Listen, no matter what you do, always be careful because even 1 year and 9 months later, it could still be brought right back around and shot in your face. So be careful.
Strong words coming from Harry the horse.
Okay, that's enough.
He just wants to own a horse. That's all.
Yeah, I got the horse right here. His name is Paul Revere. Like that's his name. So it's
Yep.
just a character. It's just an animal, and the animal has a name, and that is it.
And it can be written.
God damn it.
I gotta take that one step further.
Let's back this up to a more tame.
This went downhill
Place.
so fast. I'm gonna start it off. Tommy, how did you get into the arts itself?
Oh, jeez. Ooh, that is gonna take us back to like 1992.
Okay.
Tommy was very well established as a kid performer.
Oh,
I was, but we're not quite there yet.
Okay.
From what my family tells me, okay, so the first movie that my family ever decided to show me was The Sound of Music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, according to them, I don't know that I believe this, but according to them, by the time I was 3 years old, I could sing the whole score of The Sound of Music.
I live.
And pretty well, apparently. And my mom was like, "Hey, let's put him into some let's put him into some acting classes." And my mom had a thick Long Island accent, so I said, let's put him into this. And she talked with a hand, so blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
relatable.
And so my first production that I ever did was a musical stage adaptation of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Okay.
Were you Snow White?
No.
Were you the witch?
I was the woodsman.
Oh, okay.
So after that production, is Snow White a dream role for you now?
I mean,
I feel like you're more evil queen. You're like me. We're very villain coded.
Thank you for getting my aesthetic.
We just like black and dark purple and like a fierce eye look and like yelling at a skinny ingenue.
Nobody wants a Snow White that looks like Grumpy. So
that's how I feel people look at me when I'm on stage in Disenchanted. They're like, what is this princess doing here?
And why did she have a unibrow?
But yeah, when I was 8 years old, I was on the national tour of Carousel as a snow child. So that's
very glamorous.
Yeah, so that's kind of where everything really like just started.
While you were a child, did you have to like was it an equity tour? Did you have to like join equity as a child?
No.
Okay.
Things were very different back then, and to be completely honest, I was 7.
You have no idea.
You think I remember any of that?
The parents were doing this. This was not your problem.
All I remember is that I had to have a parent with me at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the way. And we got tutored, and they would find things for us to do in different cities to keep us out of the adults' hair.
Yeah, I feel that.
What, they didn't want to bring you out to a bar? They didn't want the little ones doing shots?
No. Could you imagine?
They were
Man,
Snowden children. What was his name?
no child, yeah.
Snow Child. They were skiing the slopes. They weren't doing shots. That's
I see what you did there.
quack quack
Great
quack.
seven.
But yeah, that must have been really insane. How long were you on that tour for?
It was like 9 months to a year. We would get like time to like leave the tour and go home and see family and stuff like that, and then come back
Mm-hmm.
because kids.
Did you
And
ever
they had
spend
so
any?
many of us. They had so many of us on the tour, so we could like rotate and stuff like that.
Did
That's
you
good.
spend any holidays on tour? Like, did you have any memories from like doing anything special during those times?
Not as a kid, no.
Okay.
Mm. No, that's really cool though.
Was that your
But
only
like I feel
tour?
What?
no.
What other tours have you done?
As a child, that was it.
That was it. Okay, well, grown up then.
The national tour of Christmas Carol last year,
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, with
which,
Michael
which, if
and
you want to
Clayton.
talk real non-equity, we can talk about that, Joe.
Oh, please
Absolutely.
do.
You know the phrase "bus and truck tour."
hmm
I don't think you fully understand what that means until you're on it.
Mm.
Yeah.
We were shuffled around the country in 2 passenger vans,
Ooh.
and our sound
Oh.
designer and one of our other technical hires drove the U-Haul with our entire set and lighting and everything that we had to. When we got to the theater, we had to build everything, go to the hotel, check in, come back, have dinner, get ready for the show, do the show, and then immediately after the show, load the entire thing out back into the truck, go to the hotel, sleep, wake up at 6 a.m., and drive to the next city.
Was it all one-nighters?
Yeah, except for like 2 cities.
That is such a rough like it's one thing when you have a tour and like you can sit down in a place for like a week or even like a few days where you can kind of like recover from like the travel days, but like
Yeah.
having to do like a string of like one-nighters, that is rough.
It was. I will simply put the amount of stress on me back when we did that tour. I had hair. Now I don't.
Relatable, Tommy. Relatable.
Oh my
Tommy
goodness.
was actually the person to introduce me to Topic, this wonderful product that I now put in my hair, and I still need to pay you back for basically using like half of your shit.
It's okay.
Because it gave me like, I never knew that was a product. Like I just ended up like, dealing with it and wearing my classic visor. And Tommy was like, "Hey, dude, like I know you're self-conscious about taking off your hat in the show. I got this like product here." And I was like, "Psh, bullshit." Right. And he came over and he was like, in my hair. And I was like, "All right, I'm not even wearing a hat in the show. Like, this is terrific."
Listen, I am all about making sure I'm looking the best I possibly can with
Damn
stuff that I
straight.
was conscious about. I was super self-conscious about my balding back then,
Mhm.
especially because my hair was so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kept my hair long because if I could put it up in a bun, it was less noticeable.
Hmm.
hmm
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
No,
I'm
And
happy to pass on the knowledge.
no, you did, and I'm going to get PRP treatment done on my head, so they're gonna like inject needles into my scalp and do all this type of jazz. And the lady there was like explaining the different procedures, and she was like, "Well, the PRP you only need to come in like once a year, but for the other ones it's like every 2 months or every 2 weeks." And I was like, "Just inject my face, please." Like, she's like, "Oh, are you not afraid of needles?" And I was like, "No, like let's just get it done." And then she brought it up later on and she was talking about it, and then she was like, "Well, it's very scary." And oh, you're not afraid of needles. I forgot. And I was like, "No, lady, like just stick my head, please."
you have to tell
Well,
me how that goes because I've lost I have some hair loss from like all the medications I was on. So like if that works.
be very careful. I had a friend do that kind of procedure, and they're supposed to numb you for it. And they did, and apparently he wasn't numb, and he could feel everything.
Oh, geez. Well,
And
thank
then,
you for instilling a fear in me now. I might have to go back.
sorry,
So about that
just
PR.
wanted to let you know to make sure to let them know if you could still feel your fucking scalp.
True. No,
Yeah.
I'll keep that in consideration. Thank you again, Tommy, for the wonderful advice. See, now
You're
he's 2 for 2 with my hair.
There you go.
He's
Tommy is our
incredible.
savior. We pray to the Lord, our Tommy. But
Oh,
no, it's funny being an actor and like having to like give a shit about how you look is like so counterproductive to like the work we try to do. But it's
Mhm.
oh
like
my God,
it's
so
it's
much.
this thing, and like especially for like Tommy, like for us, like especially as like plus size people, like we have to like look a certain way to like even get like seen in the room. It's like so fucking
It's like, oh, you're
weird.
plus size, but you're not the right kind of plus size.
Yeah.
I'm
But
like,
it's
oh, okay,
just
I'm sorry, I'm not Lizzo.
yeah, it's just like a strange thing about how like we're such
Sorry, I'm
creatives and we sit here trying to like make
almost.
art, and but then we have to like we have to also have like that kind of like cognizant knowledge of like how we present in the room and like whatever. Like I remember having a casting director talking about like when they walk into the room, I want to see if they're talented and then if they look fuckable. And I'm like, that is such a
Oh,
isn't it just like fucking weird?
no,
It
it's not even
really
weird. It's disgusting, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I realized, there first off a couple of things. Like during spelling bee, I was a little bit overweight, and going into 42nd Street, after that show, I realized that I needed to get my shit under control because like I did the opening number and I literally thought I was going to pass away. And like we joke about that, like, oh my God, we do a dance number, I'm gonna pass away. No, I literally thought I was gonna die. So I was like,
I
okay,
feel you.
I need to get that under control. And then, just with the tapping, because I was like, I tapped, but like I didn't tap. So getting into that number, and I didn't know much about 42nd Street. They called for ensemble, and I was like, I can keep up. And getting into that room was yet again just beyond humbling, not only because I couldn't catch my breath, but because of how far behind I was. So all that kind of stuff contributes, but you get stuff to work on. You learn every single process. I've learned something new from every single show, but that right there was a wake-up call for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really cannot relate to that as a singer actor stander. I like you guys dance, Tommy, like Tommy, you've been dancing for years and years and years.
Yeah,
Like
Tommy
you
can
were part of like a
dance.
dance company and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, and listen, it's like it's the funny thing for me is that being somebody who is plus sized, people never expect me to be able to dance and to
Yeah.
keep up. And then I show up in the audition room and I do the dance call and then I dance circles around these other people.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, holy shit!" And I'm like, "Yeah, didn't know that. You already wrote me off, didn't you?"
Mm.
But
Yeah, Tommy's exceeding expectations and I am living just at them.
No, Kat,
it
I
was really
consider I consider myself a strong mover. Like there was a time in rehearsal for 42nd Street where I literally screamed out, "Can you please slow it down for the people in the back?" And they were like, "Oh my God, please keep that in the show. That's so funny." And I was like, because they were like, we need, ad libs whenever
This
they
isn't
switch
comedy.
lines.
This is a
I
person
feel
having a
And I'm like,
crisis.
I'm glad you guys think this is hilarious, but I can't breathe. Like, Maxi 4 combination, my arms were all over the place the first week. So when that uttered out of my mouth, it was just like me talking, but they were like, hey, keep it. And I was like, you got it.
listen.
Ugh.
Last summer when I was doing the summer stock, and I realized I was going to be in the ensemble of Something Rotten.
Mm.
That's a dancy show.
The amount of praying to baby Jesus that I did. And when I tell you, so the director choreographer is somebody who I'd worked for before, and
Hmm.
he was like, "Oh, I know you, dance bitch. You don't think I'm gonna take it easy on you." And I said, "Oh shit."
See, that's what people used to say to me after nine, the one time I had to dance. And then I'd be like, no, take it easy on me. Please. I spent a very long time learning that choreo, and most of it involved me sitting on a cube. Please don't make me suffer.
I
But
was
you know what? It
grateful
was
for.
fantastic.
Yes, it was, and
I remember seeing that from the audience, and it was lovely.
Thanks.
I
If
was
I just shake
grateful.
my tits enough to the audience, it covers up
was
any
Not
the
the
mistakes I
biggest.
made.
shaking.
It was the biggest Yas number of that show.
If I was grateful for 42nd Street, I would have to say that it helped me run into Mary Poppins a lot easier. Because when we found out that we were getting the original Broadway choreo, I damn near had a heart attack. Especially with the super cow spelling and then step in time being, the beast of a number that it is. Like, is the number gorgeous? Absolutely. But it's in like 4 or 5 parts. So, you got the whole beginning slow-mo, and then you have, the group sections, and then the solo sections, and then, into the line, and then into the flying. And I was sitting there, and I think we were on the number for like a week, but you had to be on the number for a week just because it was so intricate. And our choreographer, who helped us out, like with Ashley Rubin, God bless her soul, she was given the tracks and here's the videos, and go ahead and place them and figure it out, and she did. And because if anyone else was handed that, like if I was handed that, oh my God, I'd be like, okay, cool, come back next season and maybe I'll have half the number done.
The thing is, they wouldn't hand us that.
Oh, absolutely
Like,
not.
I'm too incompetent for that. But that was your craziest like dance like situation, was that show?
100%. And again, 42nd Street warmed me up. It was a really nice show to be like, okay, like get back into your dancer body. I lost 25 pounds in that process.
Oh shit.
And it helped me with my stamina for sure. So by the time that step in time came around, and that's like a 7-8 minute long number,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't winded. I was ready to
Cool.
go. And it was, I looked forward to it every night. Like I was always like putting on my soot like 3 numbers early, and twirling around my chimney sweep brush, and just having fun. But that it got like standing O's like every other night just because of
Yeah.
how incredible that thing was. And I mean, that's a dance number I will always love. Super
Tom,
Cal, on the other hand, I never want to spell that word ever again in my life.
you were
I'm
like,
good.
I'm done with this. So Tommy, what was your like craziest like dance situation like in a show?
Oh my God. So I've got two, and for two very different reasons.
Please tell them.
Okay. The crazy dance thing for me for a show, as far as like choreo and like stamina and really being able to like literally doing everything and being winded every single day,
Mm-hmm.
was doing Mamma Mia
Of course.
at 8,000 feet elevation in Colorado.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
here we go
And when I tell you,
again.
when we
Every
started learning, because it was part of a summer stock deal, when we started rehearsing for Mamma Mia and doing choreo, it had not hit that 2 week point where my lungs were acclimated to the air yet.
Yeah.
It takes a good 2 weeks for your body to like readjust and get used to how thin the air is.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a town where they like you can go to Walmart and they sell cans of oxygen.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That is crazy.
So as far as like crazy like choreo, like stamina training, all that kind of stuff, that by far was the hardest thing I'd ever done, especially because our choreographer for that show, Pia Wyatt,
Mm.
who is the dance director at NSU in Louisiana, is psycho. And let me tell you, listen, I love her to death. She is psychotic in the best way possible. Like her choreo is so high energy.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, I saw your dance reel. And I'm like, oh
Oh
shit.
no.
she's like,
I'm in
she's like,
danger.
yeah. She's like, I'm gonna put you in everything.
Oh no. Oh no, no, no.
Luckily for me, that was the only show that I was like a dance track.
Tommy,
Yeah.
The
I need
only
to I
other
need to see you on the line. It needs to happen.
the the only other show that season that I danced at all in was Tommy. And that's
Did you
because
you had it?
I had a little soft shoe moment during Tommy's holiday camp.
Oh yeah,
Incredible.
I was because you're not because that character Uncle Ernie's not in like the other than like Christmas, not in any of the dance numbers.
No,
Michael's
nobody likes
terrified.
Uncle
Did you,
Ernie.
Michael? Did you not know the premise of the Who's Tommy?
I did.
Yeah, imagine having to play that role in a small town in Colorado where the audience is 3 feet from me.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Non-ec nonsense. Welcome
I'm
back,
tr
episode 3. We're here.
I'm trying to think.
No, non-ec nonsense was when I worked for another theater down in Florida, and there was a half-eaten cookie backstage that lasted the entirety of the contract.
Is this a theater that's dead?
No,
Oh
Oh no.
my God! Can you
Not the
give us some
cookie.
clues? Who is it? Who is it?
No
um,
clues. We're gonna leave the cookie alone.
What was the other crazy dance story that you had?
oh, um, the other crazy dance story was from Crazy for You.
Oh yeah,
Because here's the thing, it's a hard show, right?
yeah.
It
It's
is a
insane.
dance
It was a
heavy show.
fantastic production.
Thank you. It was great. I have such fond memories of it most of the process. Uh, I have never in my professional career brought my personal problems into a rehearsal.
Well, you're a consummate professional,
Yes, I know.
unlike me. But you,
Yeah, I was about to say, speak for yourself, Kat.
I am very aware that I'm not a professional. I just somehow get paid and haven't gotten fired. That's about it.
But like, I remember this one point in rehearsal, we were working on Slap That Bass, right? And
Oh, that number
I
was so good.
I got this show because I play the upright bass.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I was in this track for that reason. And he said, okay, at the and literally it's the last pose. I've done nothing but play this bass in the center of the stage the whole time because when you're actually playing, that's really what you do. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You stand there and you play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially something that difficult that I can't really be doing like choreo and shit like that. At the end of the song, he tells me, okay, we're gonna lift the bass, and he makes me lift it in front of me. So me, the person that made all this happen, is covered by the instrument.
Granted, I sat on the side of the theater, so I could still see you, but yeah, I can understand like those head-on photos when they come out. It's just the bass and like
And
the
I was
hands of Tommy.
literally, and he looked at me, he said, yeah, we're gonna put it in front of you. Is that okay? And I said, it's fine, I'm used to it by now. When I tell you, everyone in that rehearsal went, ooh, clutched their pearls. And then after I've learned all this other choreo, he says, oh, Tommy, you're not going to do this. You're going to go in the back and wave a flag.
I bet you waved the shit out that flag, though.
I mean, it was a big ass flag.
Man, the abuse we take as, you know,
But
fat
like
people
once
in
again,
theater, it's
I was
wild.
hidden. Just once again, I was hidden. And in this big pose, I was literally behind everybody
Yeah.
to make the
That's
flag the center point at the very end of the number. While
well,
while the leads are in front of me standing on a table.
of
I am
course.
literally hidden.
Did they at least credit you in the playbill for being the flag?
No. I was listen. Anytime that I was on
Flag and
stage
other
and I was
roles
not
played by
hidden, I
Tommy
was taking
Paduano.
advantage of it.
As long as I can be the understudy for the flag the next time that show is done, then I'm cool.
The day before we opened, like had
Mhm.
our first audience, the day before our first preview, and because my part depends on 2 other people because we're part of a trio, and it
Yeah.
was me, Michael Friedman, and Sean Davis.
Sean Davis.
That
Shout out
it's a
Sean Davis.
trio straight from hell, and I love it.
It is. It is. If you ever wanted chaos in a trio of people, you got it. And I mean, aside this trio from right now, but
Yeah.
I digress.
Are you ready to be in a trio, Tommy?
Oh no. Handsome Squidward, when did you get here?
I've always been here. I was on a cruise and now I'm back.
The spirit of Sean Davis haunting this podcast. He like commented on the YouTube page. It was like when we mentioned his name in the first episode, he's like, "This is the best section of the podcast." And we're like, "Shut the fuck up!"
We're waiting for 30 minutes in on this one. He's gonna be like, "This was the best part." And I talked to him earlier. I literally had a conversation with him, and we're gonna go lift weights. So, God bless. It's a good day.
You could do a podcast on the road and like go lift weights at the
Please
gym.
listen. Please, while you're lifting weights with him, listen to this episode with him.
I'm just gonna skip to 30 minutes in and be like, "Hey, Sean, look at what I got here, right on my phone." Bacardi.
Like, anyway, so Tommy, speaking of the slap that bass, you're an incredible like actor musician. That's like become like a lot of your bread and butter recently, hasn't it?
Tommy can sing.
Yeah, since I really got into it back in 2019, starting with Crazy for You. I mean, I've played bass for years, but nobody really knew that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really a lot of the shows that I was being cast in really didn't call for it. So there really was no point in me bringing it up, especially playing upright bass. It's not one of those. It's a niche instrument that's very important, but is not always needed.
It's not like guitar where it's like always in shows, something like that. Yeah. Or piano.
You could right. Like, I mean, the only active musician show down there in Florida while I was there that was really going on was Once, and you don't need an upright bassist for Once.
No.
You know,
that's like
one?
fiddle players and like mandolins and stuff like that, like accordions. Yeah.
But during Crazy for You is when I got the offer for my first summer stock gig, which included Ring of Fire, because I play the bass. And since I've done that show,
wait, this was the Ring of Fire with Allie, right?
Yes, with Allie.
Love her.
But yes, so this show was with Allie out in Colorado. Yes. And since I've done Ring of Fire, I have done Ring of Fire now 3 times. I also last year, because of my bass playing skills, did Bandstand in Phoenix.
Yeah, that was out in Arizona.
And then I've also I just finished doing this year $1 Million Quartet for the first time.
That's an underrated show right there. Love that show.
It's so fun, but let me tell you, for the bassist, when you are not one of the main players in the show and you're literally the bassist, the reason he's there, they put him in as Carl Perkins' brother, Jay, which is how he's incorporated into the show. He's got like 5 lines the whole show. Doesn't sing at all. He's on stage the entire time.
Ooh.
And plays every single song.
It's hard. It's hard when you're like...
It was a lot.
Yeah, I can't imagine, because the one actor musician show I did, thankfully, it was like half and half for me. So I was like half on, half off, and it was like spread out like throughout the show. So it wasn't like stuck, playing my instrument like the whole time. Versus you are stuck.
I was literally there in the same spot for the entire show, except for the very, very end of the show, which is kind of like a concert. We do like 4 different songs at the very end of the show. One big hit from each of the big 4. We start off with Hound Dog, and then go into Ghost Riders, and then into See You Later, Alligator, and then as an encore we do oh god, what is this? It's a Jerry Lee Lewis song, but I don't remember it because he wasn't really that famous. I'm sorry. You go to $1 Million Quartet, and you're like, oh, Elvis, Johnny Cash, and the other two. Am I wrong? Could you have named Jerry Lee Lewis and Carl Perkins in that lineup had I not mentioned their names?
Absolutely not. If there was $1 million out of that $1 million quartet
Well,
on the line, I still wouldn't have been able to guess it.
I couldn't name Carl, but I could do Jerry.
I
But
will say though, the guy who plays Jerry Lee, like, hats off to him, because this poor dude, the
that's a
entire
fierce
show.
track. That is
It is
a hard track.
Jerry Lee Lewis. I'm sorry, Jerry Lee. The guy who plays Jerry Lee Lewis is the star of the show.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's
He's got like
craziness.
he's the one that gets the most like jokes in,
Yeah.
plays the hardest. Like this kid that I was doing it with was like literally his fingers would bleed all the time
Fuck.
from playing this show.
Yeah. Oof. That's a
I
rough
remember
show.
I remember on stage once an audience member was just like, "What's that?" And he blood was dripping all the way down like his elbow
Holy shit.
during the show. I felt I was it was that track is hard. I have nothing but respect.
Talking about something that's difficult, Tommy, what do you think was your most difficult role that you've had to play?
Oh God. Difficult?
It could be difficult technique wise, or it could be like difficult material, whatever it is.
I think I think the role that was the most emotionally taxing for me was probably Uncle Ernie and Tommy.
Well, yeah, it's
It it was a lot.
yeah,
You
it
know, it just also because you know, Ernie has a lot of issues.
yeah.
One of his main one being the fact that he is a raging alcoholic.
But that's like really rough. I feel like that's something that like so many people do Tommy, and like Tommy's coming back to Broadway, I believe, right now. But
Yeah, I know, and I
I've
specifically did not audition for it.
yeah, no, I've done Tommy twice now. Tommy was my first professional gig ever. Uh I feel like, and though like the two kids, the couple kids that I worked with on Tommy, like they were such performer kids, and they had like my second Tommy had like before he came to that had like just done Doubt and stuff. So like these were
Oh,
kids that like were kind
wow.
of used to that kind of material, or
Right.
they had seen the material enough where
When I
when they
tell you
came in it wasn't too bad. But it's something that people don't think about, like protecting the children like in shows like this.
yeah, and our 10-year-old kid Tommy was such a trooper, such like a professional kid.
Yeah,
Like, well, both of like with his stepdad and with his mom both being performers and living in
that's
that
good.
world for a while, getting to really see it and all that kind of stuff. Um, but like I had to make sure to build a relationship with this kid so we would know that when we were on stage together, we're both okay, you know? And on top of that, like having to really go through the motions of everything that has to happen
Mm-hmm.
was just a lot for everyone to deal with. And especially when you're doing it in like a small town in Colorado. And a lot of times people can't like after the after the show, after every opening night in that theater, we allow the audience to have a talk back with us, to ask us questions about the show, give us their feedback, give us comments, and blah blah blah, what they liked and whatever. And so many people, because this is our third show that we had opened in a matter of like a month.
Yeah,
So these small town folks in Colorado didn't really know me that just yet. They didn't really know our personalities, who we were for like who we were. And so many of my castmates had to literally come to my aid to defend me in saying he's just acting. This is like the nicest person you'll ever meet, including the
that's
little kid.
That's
literally had to come up
unfortunate.
and hug me. And it was,
Yeah.
like having to listen to somebody say, like, props to you because as an actor you did your job because I just don't even want to look at you.
Yeah,
It's a
it's hard.
lot.
Yeah.
You
That
know, so difficulty in dealing with emotions and trying to dig into a character to do my job. That was probably the hardest one.
so let's kind of shift out of that. So
Yes,
I have something real quick. Tommy,
yeah.
I just closed Into the Woods at Slow Burn, and I open up my TikTok page
oh god.
and I see this man full belting in costume last midnight. And it
Yes.
was incredible. And I'm not even
Please
trying to blow smoke up your ass. Like, I sat there and I was like, holy shit. I was like,
please talk about that gig because you just did the concert at the Stonewall.
Yeah. I was part of every month the Stonewall does this concert series called Stonewall All Stars. And the guy who runs it, I met him ready. Met him through Jennifer McLean,
shout
Mm-hmm.
out Jennifer McLean.
the goddess of all divas.
Yes, Jennifer
My forever
McLean.
Miss Lynch. Love you.
I love her so much. I've known her since like 2010. Like
She's a good
so
Judy.
much, so many of the people that I know, I owe to Jennifer. Uh,
Yeah.
anyway, so she came up to New York and uh, she dragged me in a taxi to the Monster down in the Village, where two of her friends were performing, and Anthony happened to be one of her friends that was performing. And so we're sitting there, and they call up Jennifer to sing because they said, "How do you know you're in a gay bar?" Jennifer McLean walks in the door. You
True.
didn't think it could get gayer than gay, but here she is, fellas. Uh, and so she told Anthony and her other friend that was there, Michelle Downey, who was Tracy in Hairspray on Broadway. Uh, she's like, "Well, my friend sings too," and I had just come from work too. I've been singing for hours. Uh, and so they called me up, and I sang out there from Hunchback because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to sing right now, especially with a live accompanist.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I hadn't really talked to him since then. But then I hung out with Michelle Dowdy again on Fire Island with Jennifer. And then I made it out to her weekly open mic thing at another gay bar in Hell's Kitchen. And
Mm-hmm.
Anthony happened to be there. And I was singing Losing My Mind from Follies.
Of course. I love how our rep book is pretty identical.
We are the
We
same person.
we are the same person. Just
Everyone,
different.
I have an announcement. Now you know there's a cat gold, but then there's also a K gold. And here she is.
We brought it back. We brought it back. We finally found the mysterious K Gold that was put in that review.
It was Tommy all along.
Tommy all along.
I'm just living in his shadow. It's fine.
Uh,
I'm fine.
but but yeah, so he saw me. He's like, "You have to be in this next show." And I was like, "I'm going on a contract," because this was back in August. And he's like, "Okay, you know what? Even better, come back and I'll put you in the Halloween show because it's gonna be a very, very special show." I said, "Okay." And while I was on contract, he contacted me, and we're trying to figure out back and forth like what to do. And he's like, because it's Halloween, it's like the biggest. It's like one of the bigger shows that we had that I do. So I like people to go all out when they come in, like costume, over the top, everything, blah blah blah. And I said, okay. Because originally what I was gonna do was I was gonna do Poor Fortunate Souls.
Of
But like
course.
I don't have anything in my closet even remotely Ursula like.
You can't just magically become purple right now.
I mean, I other people can, sure, but for me it takes a lot more time. Uh, you know, uh, but I did have a ball gown.
Damn straight.
I did have a ball gown, and he texted me and he goes, do you do anything from Into the Woods? And I said, okay, I got you.
And I have
I
it
got
pulled
you.
up, and
Oh God, I
I'm
know,
just,
and I know. I just got a notification on my phone that says Michael Matadomini looked at your TikTok profile.
and here it goes. I'm gonna go ahead and play it, so
Are we
everyone
playing
enjoy.
it?
The blame, if that's the aim, give me the blame. Just give me the boy. No. You're so nice. You're not good, you're not bad, you're just nice. I'm not good, I'm not nice, I'm just right. I'm the witch. You're the rat.
Fierce.
That right there, that note right there, I just got chills listening to it. Yes.
But it must be
Okay.
nice being talented as you are, Tommy. It must be nice.
Listen, you know how long I spent making that track? Yeah, actually, Kat, you do know how long.
Yes, I do. I feel like I was involved in
You
the
were.
birthing of
I
this
would send it to you and be like,
process.
how's this?
You'd send me the tracks, and then we would look online for like wigs, and then we were looking online for hair accessories. And then you called me like a couple hours before, and you were like having me talk you through drag makeup as if you hadn't done drag before.
No, I had, but like every like and for it's always for me it's doing drag makeup is always hit or miss because for some reason I could never glue down my eyebrows. They always come
Oh.
back up. They always like I will glue them down and then I'll put things over them and then they'll just be like, just kidding, creep back in it. There we are. You can see me again.
I don't even want to think about the idea of trying to glue down my caterpillars that I have on my face. All right. So God bless you for even going through that.
Listen, it's funny because the way my eyebrows grow, I have like these really wild ass long eyebrow hairs. You don't understand. I will take them and I will glue them and I will brush them up, and then I get eyebrow hairs that come up to here.
Oh,
Do you see
Jesus.
it?
All right, there you go.
Do you see it? You see how long my eyebrow hair is? It's just it
Yeah.
goes all the way up.
It's like an Ebenezer
Listen,
Scrooge eyebrow hair. And like an
yeah,
alfalfa one. You got a single one sticking up.
Exactly, but instead of my
see,
head, it's my eyebrow.
yeah, Tommy's brows are giving, Charles Dickens novel. Michael's eyebrows are giving Brian Darcy James and Shrek.
Oh, wow. That was a really precise. Wow. Yeah, they are. They're coming off my face tonight.
Sorry about
now.
it. just individually plucking each hair with your fingers.
Crying in the mirror.
See, it's
as I'm
funny because
plucking them.
it's funny because every time he looks surprised, it looks like his eyebrows are trying to run further away from his face.
They're trying to hide in my non-existent hairline. It's good.
But so Tommy, you've been doing the regional scene for many, many years. You've done the national tours, and now you have relocated pretty recently post-COVID to New York. So how
Yeah.
is it being like a New York working actor? You're working at Gale's Broadway Rose, like,
I
which is like
am.
iconic all over TikTok right now. But you're doing like the whole auditioning scene and like being in the city. How is that going for you?
It's really fun the fact that like everything is just so accessible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, New York is expensive AF. Like it's a lot. It is a lot.
Yeah.
But like, I just moved into my new apartment. And I'm still getting settled. I've only been here like a month, but there's still crap everywhere because, I just don't have anyone to put it right now. But it's the largest room that I've had so far in New York City out of the three that I've had in two.
What is it, 5x5?
No, actually, you know what? I have a very, very lovely, nice, large room. I've got a queen size bed and I still have room to walk around.
It's like a mansion for like New York.
Yeah, what are you paying a month?
Literally.
3,000?
Mind you, there's four of us in this apartment, and there is no the only common space is the hallway, which is the kitchen.
Love it.
We have no
New
living
York
room. It's
living,
literally
baby.
it's
New
literally
York
two
living.
hallways, and one of which is a kitchen. So I mean, I sacrifice having a living room for having a larger bedroom, which is great, fine, cool.
I have a question for you, Tommy. Have you seen
Yeah.
a rat run around with a slice of pizza yet, or is that just a myth? Like, I've heard everyone talk about it, but I need to hear if you've seen that happen.
Have I seen a rat with a slice of pizza in person? No.
Mm.
I did when I went. I went recently for callbacks, and there were someone like because I walked from Union Square over to Pearl, and like someone was like spray
Yeah, that
painting
was
like
scum.
these. It was fine. It was fine. Someone was spray painting little pizza rats like on the sidewalk. They were like
Well, I mean,
themed
hey,
New
listen,
York pizza rats.
it does happen. Have I seen it with my own eyes in person on the streets of New York City? No. Have I seen videos of them? Absolutely.
You haven't marked it off your New York bingo card yet, then.
No, not for in-person stuff. No.
I feel like the rats are like how Ireland is with sheep, where the sheep outnumber the people in Ireland. The rats outnumber the people. The rats run these streets in New York.
Oh yeah, no, I'll go to throw my trash away, and then there'll be rats in the trash can the size of a raccoon.
I would pass away.
I that's when I just throw the trash wherever, and I run back inside.
If I ever see Tommy screaming in the streets of New York, I'll know that he's going to try to throw out some trash, and he saw the rat the size of a raccoon in there.
I mean, listen, there are plenty of reasons to scream in the streets of New York City. Okay.
Yeah, I try to avoid New York City as much as I possibly can, but sometimes you see the people on the streets and you're like, "Yep, I am in fact in New York." Jesus Christ.
Yep. Listen, there are lots of things that I can scratch off my bingo card.
What is the weirdest thing that you've seen in the city?
Yeah.
The weirdest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's got to be between the guy full on smoking meth on the subway.
Oh my God.
Oh, or swimming across the subway station.
Oh my God.
I forgot that happened. Oh my God. No.
Yeah, that was fun. It was like literally just like Rose in the Titanic. And that one scene with the axe just up, like boobs deep.
Boobs deep. That's the quote of the podcast right there. We always have one that's like just like stands out from the other. The first podcast was Kat going shit, and now this one was I
Boobs
think I'm
deep.
going to use boobs deep. Yes.
I think it's an accurate form of measurement.
That'll be the name of this podcast. Boobs Deep with Tommy Paduano.
Stamp it, send it, go.
Oh,
And
on
that note, I think we should close up.
Tommy, shout out your socials. We're gonna put them in the description below, so go ahead.
You can find me at Tommy Paduano on both Instagram and TikTok.
Bada bing.
Yes.
Bada boom.
Follow him. Enjoy his incredible talent.
Also, if you'd like to follow at Gail's Broadway Rose and see my shenanigans at work, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, go visit and torture Tommy at work, but leave a fat ass tip. Leave a fat fucking tip.
Thank you. The holidays are coming, people. I can use it.
Damn straight. Can't we all?
Amen.
Thank you so much for coming on, Tommy.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was super fun.
Tommy, it's been a pleasure, buddy.
Bits.
We love you so much, and I miss our shenanigans.
Same. Soon enough, it'll hapen. It'll happen again in person. This will happen.
Yeah, we'll do your 17th production of Tommy down here. I'll be one of the boys.
Oh.
Just like triggered. Everyone's triggered.
Little pet.
All right. Well, this is Michael Matterdomini
and Kat Gold. Thank you so much for listening to the Non-Act Nonsense podcast. See y'all next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the nonsense. See you on Mondays.